There I am.
There you go.
There we
Good
go.
evening, everybody. Welcome to the Thursday Night Throwdown on the PTP Podcast.
Hello, jazz hands.
Yes. What's going on there, Mr. W?
I haven't had a text all day until your countdown got the 1 minute. Then I had like 5 people texting me at one time. Like, oh yeah, I was like, oh.
That's usually how it works. That's usually how it works. Spaz,
Mm-hmm.
what's going on?
How are you? I think I haven't I think I've fucking rolled over to the side a little bit too much or something.
Just a little
Center.
I think I'll be all right though. How you doing today?
I'm doing okay. How about yourself?
I'm fantastic.
Great. Let's say hello to everybody in the chat. A lot of people here. Disco Daphne, Supermod in the house. Dale,
DD.
what's up, Dale? 33 Ohio. Let's see. Woke Societies. What's happening, Scott? Sleep Bell 72. Who else? So Light Spear. Spaz is here. Zombie 5. Mr. W. Purple Pixie. Vanita 71. Welcome. Vet Moore. How you doing? Yeah, there you go. And we'll say hello to people as they come in. Band Mom, welcome. Well, it's Thursday.
It is?
Yeah,
Damn.
it's Thursday.
Wow.
And if you remember, Daddy Crab, thank you for the cookie tip. You remember we were all here on Tuesday, watching that fucking.
I wouldn't call it a debate.
You can't get away from it.
No.
No matter where you turn, no matter who's on, who's podcasting, it's fucking there. And I am sick of hearing about it. I am sick of hearing about it. Who won? Who didn't win? Who got the best of this? Who got the voice clip here? Friggin' tired of it. Because it's everywhere.
Yeah,
But
getting tired of new Kamala Harris signs popping up too. I get tired of it.
Mm-hmm.
and the whole thing in general is something that is boring the shit out of me. I'm just being honest. I'm being honest. It is literally boring me to death. I can't look at the news without saying, yeah, and I can't. If I report on this, it's like reporting the same thing I reported last week. But, it's a little different, but it's the same fucking thing. It's just literally boring me to death. And
So you don't want to talk about that.
So we're not going to. No debate. Damn it. That's what I prepared for. Damn it. No, I have nothing to talk about. Darn it.
well, okay, everybody. Thank you very much. What's up, Jim Bob? That's right. You know who lost the debate is the American people.
Yep.
I'm just saying, they could have done a little bit better. And like Spaz said on Tuesday night, that wasn't for people like us.
Mm-hmm.
It was not. Because everybody like us saw right through that shit. So if you guys want to talk about that, we can. If you want to talk about pizza, we can. I don't give a shit. Literally, I'll let the chat throw some ideas out. I don't care.
Thank you. Oh, God, I'm glad you didn't talk about debate. Just like you.
Saying, if you want to talk about something,
Oh my God.
Talk about your day. What's up, Stacks? Anything that you guys want to talk about, I am game for.
Yeah, I think I heard a Charlie Kirk clip. Somebody came up to him and said he was in direct contact, seeing how they transport people over here from Mexico and who it's run by and who their biggest client is. You see that yet?
For
No.
Charlie Kirk?
Yeah,
No, I haven't seen
think,
that one.
I think it was him. I don't know. I just
Well,
I
of
try
course,
to
we know
absorb
the American government is the cartel's biggest client.
it. That's what this guy said.
Yeah, it has been for decades.
Who's credible anymore?
Well, I mean, that's just the truth. We buy massive quantities of narcotics from Mexico, from the cartels. That's where, well, for the last, I don't know, 30 years, we've been getting our opioids from the Middle East.
Is that in soda or alcohol?
It's in medication,
Yeah, I don't take none of that.
but I'm just saying, opioids, poppies,
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine.
heroin, things like that are in medications, pain pills, oxy.
Yeah, I just
And
had a
for the
friend
last-
who
I
was
don't
on
know.
ketamine today.
Yeah, the last 10 years, around the last 10 years or so, the bulk of it has been coming from Mexico, Colombia, and Peru.
What a surprise.
And that's the reason why we were able to draw down the war in Afghanistan, because Afghanistan, Pakistan were our largest suppliers of opioids.
Yeah. I can tell you stories about that.
Yeah, I mean, I've had friends who came back and said, I was there for 9 months and all I did was watch poppy fields.
Mm-hmm.
I guarded poppy fields from one warlord to another. That's all we did. So, yeah, that's the pharmaceutical companies can take one pain pill, say like a Norco or a Vicodin, make it for 3-4 cents, charge the US government $5 a pill, and then send it out to the people at $6, $7 a pill, and make billions of profit. And that's how it works. So, what's up, Sean Joe? Thank you for the tip. I'm not thinking that Charlie Kirk is far off with saying that the U.S. government is the cartel's biggest client.
Oh no,
You know, fentanyl
Yeah, fentanyl. And
is a major drug in hospitals. If okay, like when I go, I'm gonna have a biopsy on my lung, which they're gonna have to knock me out for. I found out because they're gonna do it in 2 places, my lower lung and my upper lung, for another treatment I'm getting. They're gonna knock me out because I can't move. The primary thing to knock me out is fentanyl. So they're going to pump fentanyl into me on a continuous drip until they're satisfied I can wake up. That's got to come from somewhere.
yeah. Yeah.
And where are we buying it from? China?
Mm-hmm.
Mexico?
You guys remember the NWA? Remember the rap group NWA?
Mhm.
Ice
Oh, yeah.
Cube. When you leave YouTube on, it just keeps playing and playing. It came with an old interview with him, and he was saying it's not the American people that's doing all this. Drugs come from Mexico. Oh, I hear something. Is that me or is that you? Okay.
No, we're good.
Okay. Drugs come from, Mexico, from overseas and stuff, and the weapons come from overseas. It's not the gangs are doing it. It's the government's allowing the stuff in.
Exactly. Exactly.
And that made a lot of sense. And that was back in the early 90s when he said that.
Yep. How many, let's look at this from, like you said, the late 80s, early 90s, from the movies back then. Okay, now I got feedback. Okay.
Trying to get rid of it here.
Menace to Society, right? The Boys in the Hood.
Mm-hmm.
All of those types of LA gang movies. How many black people you know that own a poppy field?
None.
Right? How many Mexicans working in Los Angeles downtown own poppy fields or marijuana fields? Heroin. Not that I know of.
Mm-hmm.
So where's it all coming from? Where is the drug epidemic coming from?
Coming
The
through the
same
government.
place, right? The same place it was coming, say, from Vietnam era.
Mm-hmm.
You had the Golden Triangle,
Yeah.
Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos. That was your Golden Triangle. They called it that for a reason. Because the U.S. government was pulling narcotics out of that triangle to fund the war.
Yeah.
Now it's the same thing here. You got Mexico, Colombia, Peru, Nicaragua, all of these southern hemisphere countries, all supplying the U.S. drug companies in the same exact way, just fueling a different war. Just happens to be a war on the American people. It's not very hard to figure out who's profiting from this, right? It's not
Yeah.
very hard. Why does the Mexican government hate Donald Trump? Because Donald Trump wants to close the border,
Mm-hmm.
right? Why
Yeah.
did there's foreign governments like Vladimir Putin who are endorsing Kamala Harris for president? You ever think why?
They can keep on doing what they're doing.
To keep on doing what they're doing. That's exactly why. And I'm not
Terms of
saying Trump,
exchange.
Trump's not going to be the savior of the world, but look at his last presidency. It was a lot steeper and a lot more confined and restrained than what we have now. And that equals to less money for other people.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look at all the arms around the world that goes around. You know, what was the name of that movie where they're just getting all the when the Soviet Union collapsed and they sold all their arms?
Lord of War.
Yeah, I saw an interview with the actual real guy.
Yeah, with Nicolas Cage. He
Yeah.
made that movie. Yeah.
Yeah, the real guy, and he said that it was so easy to do this because two governments, the new Russian government didn't care; they were making money on one end, and
Right.
the U.S. government was making money on the other end. So no one really cared if they were smuggling these arms everywhere around the world. They didn't care. They were both making money on both ends.
And you know what? Right now, the weapons that were in Afghanistan and parts of Iraq that this government left there, not only vehicles, helicopters, armored personnel carriers. We're talking about Berettas, M4s, M16s. This shit's showing up in India.
Mm-hmm.
It's showing up in Kashmir. It's showing up in Mexico. There are cartels in where was that shit? I just read it yesterday. Where MS-13 is.
New Mexico?
No. Yeah, I'm sure there too.
Venezuela,
Not Venezuela.
one of those Venezuelas.
One of those places.
Yeah.
Just not too far. The MS-13 El Salvador.
Okay.
Nice.
American rifles are finding their way into the hands of MS-13 members in
Oh,
El
yeah.
Salvador.
We still manufacture weapons?
They're from Afghanistan.
Oh,
Mhm. Yeah, there's even I don't know if you remember about 4 or 5 years ago, there's a Marine sniper team that got ambushed and killed in Iraq, and they took all their weapons,
Yeah.
and one of the rifles was traced. They found it. I think Border Patrol got it off somebody crossing or something happened, and they traced it back to that soldier that was killed in Iraq.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Spaz, if this is where Charlie Kirk was going with what you're saying, then he's 100% correct.
here's the thing.
Hey, Black Mamba.
He wasn't saying it. Charlie Kirk wasn't saying it. Charlie Kirk was I believe on a sidewalk or somewhere where he was sitting and asking people around to, have something to say. And
Yeah.
this gentleman came up and started saying, well, I've been down there, I've seen it all, they're working with them. And, I mean, it's just a guy off the street.
Oh, you're talking about his little interviews that he
Yeah.
does on campuses and stuff.
Yeah,
Oh,
I only have so much time to watch,
Yeah.
whatever. So, I mean, I didn't check on, the date or whatever. I'm just, and one of the last things Charlie Kirk said was that, and Kamala's overseeing the whole thing. And you could see the guy like motioning to say yes, but I guess the video shot off. Whatever. It's just,
No, I think if they're on that track, I mean, they're correct. They're correct. Kamala Harris said that she wants to ban the import of assault weapons into the United States. It didn't work in the 90s. Why would it work now?
yeah.
It's nothing but gaslighting for a political purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's her whole campaign, apparently.
Right.
If anybody,
That's all their campaigns,
looks
don't
into
you
it.
agree?
Yes, right? It's all gaslighting for a political purpose. I mean, everybody and their mother owns an AR-15. You're not going to buy back. You're not going to ban anything. Matter of fact, the more you say you're going to ban them, the more people are going to manufacture them.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has a $300 CNC machine in their garage. Everybody has a 3D printer. Everybody can print an AR lower. Everybody can do whatever they need to do to make the elusive AR-15. It's not going to stop anything, but it sounds good if you're running for president.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm waiting for is the next mass shooting where they show the rifle and that rifle gets traced back to a soldier that was deployed in Afghanistan.
It's coming, just like Fast and Furious. Just
Exactly.
Like Fast and Furious.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm waiting for. And I don't think it's too far off.
And the thing that kills me about most gun grabbers, they have no gun knowledge at all.
No.
As soon as you hear someone say clip, they're idiot.
Do you remember it was a representative here in California? He did a whole thing and he goes, this is a ghost gun. And it has a 30-round clip magazine. It can shoot 30 bullets in 3 seconds. It's a ghost gun.
Yeah, it's a ghost.
And everybody on the internet was taping clips and magazines,
Yeah.
all kinds of shit together because the guy was just so stupid.
Yeah, because I remember remember the guy who came out the first 3D printed gun that worked? He came out the Ghost Gun CNC. You remember that little machine you could buy? It finished he came out with the CNC machine you could finish AR 80% lowers with. Automatically put it in there and press a button.
Yep.
And they came after him because, oh my God, you can't do this. You can't do this.
Why
So
not?
guy bought one, right? The FBI's tracking him. The ATF's tracking him. He bought it, lent it to his friend so he could do his. So they arrested him because, like me, say all three of us are building a gun. I come to your house to use your drill press, Pete. I would
I'm
go.
not accessory.
We would go to jail. Yeah, I would both go to jail because I made it at your house with your tools. So that's what they got the guy on.
Bullshit.
What kind of law is that?
It's I forget what it was, but
You can't manufacture your own arms.
you can manufacture your own arms, but I can't come to your house with that arm I'm making in my house and use your drill press
Right.
or use your
That
stationing
makes
car.
me an accessory. Yeah.
No, it's sweep the leg bullshit.
Yeah.
Shit. I think that's a big lump of bullshit. Because right now, there are 1 million people in this country that are building AR-15s from parts on the friggin' internet.
Mm-hmm.
You see what the gangs have been doing?
Thank you, Purple Pixie.
They don't give a rat's ass about,
They don't do background checks. You're kidding me,
background
Spaz.
checks. They probably make you shoot somebody, and that is your background check.
Yeah. I'm going to put for universal background checks. So if you're going to shoot up a school, you better have a background check when we shoot you in the face. Otherwise, you're breaking the law.
See, that doesn't make sense too. They always come up. We need a universal background check. Haven't they ever bought a weapon and know that every time I forget the number of the form. You fill out the form. They do a FBI background check on you.
Yes.
Sometimes it doesn't come. Sometimes you have to wait a day or two because the FBI is busy. Yeah. It makes
every
they're
time.
just idiots. They're idiots to. Because I remember one interview. I forget what woman was on there. I think it was Sean Hannity's, and she wanted to ban barrel shrouds. Barrel shroud's just a fancy thing that goes on in your barrel. It's like kind of like a muzzle flasher device.
So you don't burn your hand.
Yeah, and she's like, "Well, we need to ban them because it makes the gun shoot faster." And he's like, "Okay, are you sure?" And then he showed her what it was. It says it has nothing to do with firing of the weapon or the man. It's just they're just idiots.
Mm-hmm.
That's like if you show somebody an AR-15 and then show them a Ruger Mini 14.
Oh,
and say which one is more dangerous. They're exactly the same gun, the exact same bullet, the exact same 30-round magazine.
Mm-hmm.
One has a handle and it's all tactical, and the other one has a wood stock.
Yeah. It's dangerous.
It's the wood stock one's okay.
Was it years ago on our show when we were before Mr. YouTube decided we shouldn't be on there? I got every caliber round I had. I lined them up, and we used to have these trolls and liberals, they were on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
And I showed this. This is just the old 40 mic. It's just the old smoke grenade. Yeah. And I said, and I numbered them. I said, pick out the one that goes to an AR-15. Most of them picked the 50 cal, and the rest of them picked this.
Yeah, there you go. Well, if you don't know what you're talking about, that just tells me you're a sheep.
Exactly.
That you follow anything that anybody says. Before all this clutter back here, I used to have a round from a A10 Warthog. The big gun?
Yep.
What they call the Vulcan?
Mm-hmm.
I used to have, it's a dummy round. It's still back there somewhere. I don't know where it's at. But I'm moving so much stuff around in here. And people are like, what is that big bullet back there? I'm like, oh, that goes to my 45 1911.
And they believed you.
Oh yeah. Wow. That's a big handgun. Yeah.
That's bigger than the 45.
That's a big gun.
If you can chamber that, I want to see that, okay?
No shit. That's like shooting a 50 caliber with your hand. Like a 50 BMG.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, except
they got all kinds of guns now. I guess there's a 5 or 6 shot shotgun pistol.
Oh yeah,
revolver.
Yeah, I got one. I got one. I got the Raising Judge. Yeah.
Judge
through the wall. through the wall.
Yeah, you can't buy that here in California.
You can't buy. Oh
No.
yeah, I forgot you're in California.
Yeah, because it's considered a sawed-off shotgun.
But can you make it?
I mean, you can only put 410 in it.
I know.
Yeah, what the hell?
410's like a straw.
Yeah.
But
What do I like about the Judge? You can put 454 Casal in it too. So
that's right. Yeah, it'll take a big friggin' round.
yeah.
But here in California, you can't.
I'm so glad I don't live there anymore.
Yep. I mean, here you have 10-day. I think it's still 10-day waiting period.
And they have what the thumb things on the pistol grips and the magazines you can't detach.
Yes,
There's so many laws in California. Oh my god.
Just what you need.
it's ridiculous.
And then Newsom every day on X is like, ban assault weapons, background checks, right? Like you need ultra mega fucking background checks. They
Well,
need
we
to know
did-
how many trigger fingers you have and how many you stuck up people's asses and what
Exactly.
it smells like.
Yeah.
And you also need ID and shit, all kinds of shit to buy ammunition too.
Oh yeah.
You can't just go buy ammunition here anymore.
Even for shotguns.
This is
I heard
ridiculous.
that too. For shotgun
Yeah.
shell, you have to wait.
Isn't
It
there
used to be at Walmart. You could buy shotgun shells by the case of 100. Like a 4-pack box
Yeah.
of a birdshot, and it was like $12. Now they don't even sell it anymore.
you
So-
remember David and Goliath?
Sure.
Remember this story? I think Goliath had a sword, didn't he?
Yes.
Because after David smacked him straight between the eyes with a rock from his sling, he then took his sword and removed his head from his body.
That's
If
exactly
I
correct.
remember the story correctly.
Yep.
So, perhaps maybe in your arsenal should also be like, I don't know, 12 gram steel balls and a slingshot.
I'll
Mhm.
tell you what. That's a good one there. Get a spud gun. Sleigh bells. A steel ball bearing on a wrist rocket. Very dangerous.
Yes.
Very, very dangerous. I happen to own a few wrist rockets. And
Now you know what I'm going to do after the show, Spaz.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
going out back and I got some ball bearings. I got
look, I'm just saying, just remember that the archery effect
yeah,
works just as well in that application. You just don't want anything in that little because
Well-
you'll ruin your weapon.
they basically want to consider everything to be an assault weapon. Everything. And
Do you mean like a creek bed? I can throw stones so fast it could be an assault stone weapon.
Yeah.
So we got to rule out creek beds too now.
absolutely,
Oh, jeez. Now we got to put that on the list. Hold on.
there's no
Creek
way
beds.
you can control the population if the population is armed. It doesn't matter what civilization you're in. In Rome, during the time of Constantine, around 300 AD, 330 AD, it was illegal to carry, for citizens, Roman citizens, to carry personal daggers on their person while walking the streets of Rome.
I wonder
Because-
why.
The senators were afraid they were going to get killed.
Kind of like today, huh? Kind of like
Wait, just imagine that kind of separation. We all know what a senator is. We all know what a senator should be. We should all know how they're elected. And to think that they would require protection from the citizens for which they represent. You would think at that particular point, being a public servant, you would step the fuck down. You would allow somebody that
You think
People don't want to fucking murder.
Or
To
do
sit
what the
in that
people
seat-
want, or do what the people you represent do what they want. For
It could
once.
be as simple as that, but
That's
there's, we're we're all not batting 1,000 out here. Not all of us are
No.
running Pentiums, or have enough RAM to contemplate, all the goings on that's going around. Like somebody mentioned the northern border, and
Mm,
and when I think about the northern border, I wonder why, you know, uh, Hunter Biden has the Great Lakes tattooed on his back.
oh,
Doesn't he
the
have the
Finger
Great?
Lakes, the
Yeah,
Finger
the
Lakes.
Finger Lakes. Well, think about this. If the southern border is bad, imagine if we had a northern border already working flawlessly as it should, so to speak, so that families could benefit off it or grow out of it or mutate out of it or whatever kind of beneath ground conglomeration that they set upon the face of the earth,
Yeah.
whatever happens up there. Now we're seeing, you know, two times, we already know what's coming. We got to know what's coming in from the top. It has to come
Mhm.
in from the top. We already know. And
Yeah.
then to come in from the bottom, but apparently coming in from the bottom is not, it's different. It's culturally different, so to speak, which would make it, I don't know, more visually prevalent. And because we're not always talking about drugs. I mean, that's a lot of the money, but we're also talking about people. We're also
Yeah.
talking about people, and but that by itself is enough to remain armed. Because the world's a crazy place, and we are all just individuals, and individually, we should be respectful and responsible enough to maintain our own civility and return others to it if need be with accuracy.
But
I mean,
here's the thing, Spaz.
Yeah.
They're not allowing us to be civil to one another.
think about what you just said there.
They're
Not
allowing us.
allowing us.
Exactly. I said that for a specific reason
That's
Mhm.
because they want to make sure, and when I say they, I'm talking about our government, want to make sure that we are all divided. Because if we unite, that's the worst case scenario for them, meaning the entirety of the new world order as a whole. Having black, white, Hispanic, Asian, and every other race, creed, religion melded together to say, enough is enough, which you people, that would be the be all end all of society.
You know,
They can't, not our society, their society. They can't have that.
because look how fast they took it to divide our country since 9/11. Well, remember how everybody was American flag? We love each other. 23 years now? It took them that long just to look. That's how fast they did it.
Yep.
And this new generation coming up, or the generation, whatever the hell they're called,
Who knows?
they're
Yeah.
so divided. They're so divided to like okay boomers or whatever they say, and
Yeah.
they're so divided now that they don't trust anybody, and they're worthless. Worthless generation right now. Worthless generation coming up.
And
And
the scary part, though, this is the
Yeah.
generation, W, that's going to take care of us in
Yeah.
our old age. Well, maybe not me, but the rest of you guys in our old age.
I don't feel like I should be taken care of. I feel like I should take care of people,
Exactly, Spaz.
especially the kids.
But there's going to be a time where your kids are going to have to help you.
Oh,
Trust me, I know.
yeah,
I know.
I can't keep giving them money all the time. You know what I mean? There's 4 of them. That's like
Yeah.
400%. You know,
Yeah.
so
That's true.
I do what I can. So whatever.
I
I
mean,
don't expect
just think when you were a teenager. When we were all teenagers, we
things were way different.
we were more self-sufficient. We had, a lot of us worked jobs. We didn't rely on mom and dad for everything. And today, but most kids are on their phones playing video games nonstop. They don't. When's the last time you seen kids playing outside?
Hardly ever.
No, I do.
You
Yep.
do?
Yep, they're right around the corner. I got to make sure I don't run over them every time I come home from work. They're outside riding bikes in the street, and I'm always like, what are they doing in the street? But you know what?
There's hope for our
The
country.
streets out front of the house, man. So
Yeah, well, I mean,
slow down.
I live on kind of I'm not going to say a main street, but it's a very busy street. So I usually don't get to see too many kids, playing around. So
But
it's
yeah,
been a while.
he's got a point. But I mean, just think about it. I mean, remember in the 90s, we had cars and flip phones.
Yeah.
And then in the 2000s, we had it just changed like so much. 2000s, we had what finally came out with YouTube in 2006. I mean,
Yeah.
just imagine, what happened in 10 short years. And then 2010, now we're all like smartphones, right? Because 2000s was Blackberries or whatever. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's every 10 years, it's another generation. It's another generation. So I can't even fathom what kids are going through right now, being taught the things that they're taught, and not being taught the things that they should be taught. Like this gender fucking craziness.
Yeah.
Look, pretend all you want, please. Pretend all you want. Be gay all you want. I mean, honestly, fine. To each their own. But to normalize that kind of stuff in society brings on wrong things. Keep it in your house. But we're touching in a touchy ground here, because we're also talking about molestation. They keep it in house too, right? So you never find that out unless it comes out. It's just
Listen, Spaz,
it's
perfect example of what we said earlier. How do you divide somebody? Throw something like transgenderism for children. There's going to be two sections. Let the children be trans. Leave the children alone.
Yeah.
well,
Perfect example.
don't tell your parents.
Yeah.
Keep it from your parents. I mean,
man, Spaz is on point tonight.
You have
on point tonight.
You have to see the signs, right? The signs, because you don't get to that point of understanding without a form of understanding, and whether you're gonna fight one way or fight the other, or sacrifice one way or sacrifice the other. It's it's still a choice, and you need to understand what they have chosen.
Exactly. Good point. Because you got to think too, is it easier to make something normal strange, or make something strange normal? You ever thought of that?
That's a great question, because we're seeing equally both, I think.
Yes.
I want to say hi to Beach Bum and Mermaid. Mwah. How are you? Glad you're here. They're trying to do both. They're trying to make normal strange and strange normal.
Yeah.
And these little Muppet children that we have in this generation are falling for it, hook, line, and sinker. And they don't care.
No.
Because they're so desperate to be a part of something. Because all they have is this. This is their whole world. They can't go out and build a house. They can't go out and fix a car. They can't do any of that stuff. They can't go out and shoot a gun because they're told that's beneath them.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you want to go to a shooting range. Oh my God.
And
Oh my God. So yeah, they have to make transgenderism normal for these people.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
those
once you're allowed to introduce sex onto children's, then pedophilia has a field day.
you know,
It does.
and that's what they're trying to do now is normalize that. It's
You
normal. It's it's normal. It's
remember
normal.
we used to have um, science. We used to know that certain things happen to the body. Remember, because puberty was one of them times where things happen to the body, and then it was important for you to experience those things that were happening with your body with somebody else around the same age
Mm-hmm.
who was having things happen to their body. And you're supposed to leave them the fuck alone because that's a beautiful time in their lives.
Goes through it, yeah.
Yeah.
And think about, how how many kids out there have already had that ruined for them. Already had that ruined for them.
Too many.
Too many. Too many. And then to find out through the southern border that we even have an inkling of a number, and that number is almost 400,000 missing children. And we don't know if they have birth certificates or names or a voice or anybody giving a fuck about them.
And that's not a priority for our government or any other government around the world.
It is for money.
Yeah.
It's to get them in, but a priority to find them. They don't care. As long as
No.
they get here and they're sold to wherever, that's all they care about.
Could you just imagine, like, things were normal at a time, and then some fucking orange guy came along and fucked all that shit up.
Yeah.
Just fucked it up. Right? Fucked it up. Where we're shooting fucking people in Vegas, and it doesn't matter about bump stocks until all kinds of fucking shit's going on, right? And not only buildings blowing down, whistleblowers winding up, suicided hanging from a tree with a 12-gauge blast in their fucking chest on somebody's fucking property, and no shotgun to be found, and calling fucking suicide.
Yeah.
You don't think this if they're gonna do that kind of shit to a kid, they could do anything, right? I remember watching Boiling Point Live's answer today to an X post about the libtards are going crazy over the debate and everything like that, and Boiling Point Live said, and that's the time where they get dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
That's the time. That's the time.
We're talking. Look, just thinking about it. We're talking about wars all over the world. We're talking about nuclear weapons. Who is stupid enough to think that if it's happening other places, that it's not going to happen here, or to your school, or to your community, or anything, and then multiplied on that, now we have dirty bombs, nukes, dirty bombs. Now we got fucking monkeypox or whatever the fuck's up. I mean, we're 3D printing guns. We're way behind in the arms race, bro. They're making bugs you can't fucking see killing people,
Yeah.
and you're worried about our guns.
Mm-hmm.
It's just hard. And then to think, that we're the gears of the tanks we drive are just crushing our children.
Yeah.
And sometimes it makes me want to, vote for Kamala Harris and watch it all fucking vaporize, because I don't think any of us are worthy enough to exist anymore because we let this shit happen. And I'm not ready to do that yet.
Not yet. Thank
Darn
you.
it.
The pills, the pill tips. Appreciate that. It's like people say, right, in reference to what's going on in Israel right now, in Gaza, that the people are killing brown children. They're killing the brown children. The Israelis are bombing the brown children. Didn't they know, like, the U.S. government under Barack Obama killed 15 times as
Yeah.
many brown children?
But he was a black president, Pete. Come on.
The biggest drone and bomb president ever. The biggest deporter ever.
Mm-hmm.
With a stroke of a pen and a phone, man.
Yep.
Stroke of a pen and a phone.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Spaz.
What there's a prominent thing. I watched this movie, I don't know how many times. It's called The Fifth Element. You ever seen it?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a pivotal moment where this supreme being was on the internet, and
Watching everything.
she took a moment. She was absorbing it in, right? You're just like Bruce Lee, whoa, Bruce Lee, right? She took all that shit in.
Yeah.
She absorbed it, right? Just like Bruce Lee would take all the good and whatever I can't use, discard. Near the end of the movie, she types in this 3-letter word, WAR, and she's obliterated by nothing but destruction. Self-destruction. It's a specific kind of destruction. Self-destruction. A destruction of the human race. It shouldn't matter what color we are. We all look the same. We're just different shades, bro. That's the only thing that makes televisions work, is the different fucking shades. Otherwise, you wouldn't see nothing. You'd see the white page of the uni party that tells you what to think.
It's like the only thing that's keeping us separated are governments. That's it. It's the government that says we need to give reparations to descendants of slaves. It's the good. You don't see. Who else is going to think of that?
Our government and our
Our
government.
government. That's it. Right? Voter rights, voter suppression. The black and brown people are being suppressed.
Yeah, that one always kills me.
They're not smart enough to get driver's licenses for voter IDs or identification cards. Only the white man is.
But if you say anything about it, you're a racist.
Well, they didn't say that. They didn't say that.
You don't have to say it. It's implied.
Implied.
So
It's implied.
now Pete's a racist just for bringing it up now.
Well,
I'm just saying. I
do
do very well.
I know.
I also remember that there were times in our country, pivotal times, and one of those times was when we as a country realized the importance of the printing press, because it was a way to spread an idea far and wide, repetitively, easily, to get a certain message across, to get people together.
One of the worst inventions for the Vatican.
And here we are again. Now we have this new internet, which I'm just saying it's new because it's fucking new. I didn't have it when I was born and I was a kid. We didn't even have Windows 3.1 when we started with computers. We had a fucking 3.5 inch fucking floppy disk that saved 500 meg a fucking it wasn't even megabytes.
It was kilobytes, wasn't it, or something? I
forget
forget what.
I think it was like 52 kilobytes.
It was like 20 discs to play a game. Remember that?
Yep. You know, my first computer, my brother gave to me because he upgraded, was an Atari.
That
And
was your computer?
It had a
Yeah.
it had a tape drive, like an audio cassette,
Yeah, I had that. The Tandy.
and you put it in there, and it was the game. It was a game.
You know.
That's how long ago. Think about that. And now, like I said, we have in the palm of our hand more technology than they had when they supposedly put a man on the moon in our hand. So, the internet is the modern day version of the printing press from the 1500s,
Exactly.
15th century.
Gutenberg would not be happy.
Right
No.
now. And people are fighting to preserve it.
Yeah.
Look, it's a tough world out there, and honestly, you know, if you're hearing the word misinformation, uh, it's probably because you're the road and you're getting stomped down by the dude pounding you in the fucking shape, so that other people can run over you all day long without feeling a bump.
Mm-hmm.
Know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it it's you got to think about this. And when did misinformation come up? During perhaps maybe one of the greatest global hoaxes of all time?
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps maybe. And then we got this guy coming out. What is it? He's a Democrat. I forget his name. He said the world's going to be shocked, appalled, and there was another word. I think it was like angry.
Disappointed. That's what it says.
No, I think it was angry.
Angry. Okay.
Shock, appalled, and angry about what they have discovered, behind closed doors, obviously,
Mhm.
Sure.
about Donald Trump's assassination attempt. I think that just came out today too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. So what are they finding out that we don't already know?
It goes deeper than what we all think, or we already
Okay,
thought
so
that.
yeah, I'm just saying. Look, I mean, some
Mhm.
people are like, "Oh, it's all a plan," and then some people are like, "Oh, it's all a fucking setup," and I'm like, you know what? It's probably fucking both, because that's exactly how a chess game is played. And who can foretell that kind of stuff? Imagine, imagine if somebody could foretell that kind of stuff and achieve, let's say, an 80% accuracy. What would you say to that? They would have like some kind of omnipresent foreknowledge of said such effect, right?
Yeah.
Except for quantum computing. Because as far as I'm concerned, that's exactly how quantum computing is described. It's almost like you're receiving the answer the same time you're transmitting the question. It's that fast.
So, here, Spaz. Let me throw this bone at you.
Ooh, come on.
Let's just say, for the sake of argument, that they come out in the next 6 months after the election, whatever, and they tell us who, what, where, when, why, and how the assassination attempt on Donald Trump took place. Verified, we have documents, we have video, we got hookers, we got proof, we got everything we need. Do you honestly think one person is going to be held accountable? One person is going to spend time in jail
Okay.
knowing that the sniper put a bullet in the head of the guy who pulled the trigger.
Look, I have questions too. I mean, all the people I talk to, and I respect everybody's input. their point of view. I respect it. I don't always see it. I got to see it my way. You see it your way. I respect that. It's just if
Nope.
look. Sometimes it takes time to realize. Well, if one was rigged to blow, they all were rigged to blow.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Right? And if you're that far back, you can dig a little further and go back to what's his name? Damn it. The fertilizer bomb dude with the FBI building.
Timothy McVeigh.
McVeigh, they executed him. But on day one, there was reports of a second person with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? Eyewitness reports. People who were there that nonchalantly didn't know what the fuck was going on, but specifically remembered somebody else was there. Who else was there? It was an FBI building. What did that FBI building contain? Look, and then you dig deeper, right? Look, I'm just saying, man. But when do you run out of coincidences? When do you close your eyes and just by mentally juggling, all the fucking pins fall into your hands with your eyes closed? When does this happen in your personal life?
It hasn't yet. It hasn't. How many people went to jail for the Kennedy assassination, knowing what we know now?
No, now you're digging.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing what we know from 1964 forward.
But right, okay, but that was a different kind of coup,
Okay?
right?
I'll throw another one at you. How many people went to jail over 9/11 knowing what we know from, say, 2006 forward? Who, what, where, when, why, and how?
So
Nobody.
nobody's
No.
getting locked up because they're acting. And it was never real.
But they tell us it is.
Well, wouldn't that be a precision strike, leg sweep upon the printing press?
Yeah.
Next thing you know, they're going to tell us that we can't congregate in pubs and imbibe alcohol.
They
And
already did.
talk
Yeah, I did
amongst
that one.
ourselves.
Yep.
They
Can't
already
do-
told us you can't worship in a church. You can't go into a bar. You can't eat at a restaurant. You can't do this.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't it come
They
out
already
last week?
did it.
Didn't that come out last week? Where the
They're trying, they're trying to do it again.
the WEF was like, oh, it was just a test for compliance, bro.
Yeah.
It was just a test for compliance.
Put your mask on and obey.
Y'all failed. It was an IQ test, and you all scored below the
Oh no, Zimbob,
IQ.
I am not
Sorry.
saying that the deaths in 9/11 weren't real by any means.
That's what
I'm
makes
just
it
saying,
real.
The people, the official story, and the people who put the official story together.
Yeah.
Don't
How do you find one of the terrorist passports and all that?
perfectly intact.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like all the other shootings, like Las Vegas. There was reports of 2 or 3 more shooters, but there we go again, Spaz. A second shooter, but you don't hear anything about it. Even like Sandy Hook, supposedly there was another shooter besides Adam Lanza, but you don't hear about that, right?
Don't hear about that.
Ian Carroll is a fun guy to follow on X. You ever see him, Ian Carroll? Because he has like this link to all the information. It's like a map of information of the uh, the Las Vegas shooting,
Hmm.
and how there were, I mean, and it's not just of the area where the incident happened. It extends well beyond, like well beyond in Vegas, of things that were, called in and reported by eyewitnesses.
Yeah.
These are actual, there, you can click on it, you can actually hear the audio. Look, I'm just saying, we got so much fucking AI, all that shit could be, you know
It could be.
right, it could be. Look,
That's
what
right,
did,
Jim.
what did he say? I think the deaths are very real. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think the deaths make it real.
Hmm.
They make it real.
So if I go blow up Spaz's house and he's not home, it's
Well,
not real. But if Spaz is home and he's dead and we have casualties, that
You
that's
could-
more real, and that puts more sympathy into it for the victims, and they're going to pull you in.
Right.
never let a, you know, a tragedy go to waste.
Exactly.
That's a Democrat motto, I think I do.
Because you think about the internet, how fast, before when something happened, you would like Pete wouldn't hear anything about the East Coast till the next day, with newspapers and stuff. But today, information moves so fast, something happens, everybody knows around the world, right that second. And
Yeah.
they figured it out that we can control all this information, throw all this disinformation out quick. If Trump does something good, oh my God, you notice something, all of a sudden something else comes out real quick, that quick. They got to change the narrative quick because like the MSN's dying because they don't realize they don't control the narrative anymore. They can't control it because they're too way behind, But everybody like us on X, huh?
It doesn't stop them from trying.
Yeah, they try, but it's something just like the debate, the eating the dog and cat thing. Everybody, that's fake. And what'd you do? You got on X, you got on social media. People are posting actual 911 calls, actual videos.
Yeah.
It's starting to flip on them. That's why they were so mad when Elon took over Twitter, because they can't just kick us off anymore like before. We all remember that. I mean, I got kicked off Facebook for posting a meme of just a guy wearing a mask that said dumbass. I got kicked off Twitter for that, or Facebook for that.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's still happening on Facebook.
Yeah.
Nobody goes on Facebook.
No, Facebook's dead. It's
right. But we've all discovered within the last 2 weeks that not only does it happen on Facebook, but it happens on Google.
Mm-hmm.
It happens inside Siri.
Yeah.
Which is a virtual search engine.
Yeah. Because these things are listening to everything we say. I know you've all, yeah, you. I know you've been to the store and looked at something, and you come home, you have an ad for it, right?
Okay, look, I'll give you a perfect example. Perfect example. I was talking to Mrs. PTP on the way to my doctor in the car about something. And then, I told her, I said, because she was like, give me some ideas of what you want for Christmas. So I told her, I said, what I need a watch box. I need a couple more watch boxes. I said, you can get them on Amazon, so you can get them on a TikTok shop. They're less than $20. I said, you can get me one, and your mom can get me one. Because I'm starting to store watches everywhere. I got no room left. So today on TikTok, I was looking at TikTok, and every 10 things that I looked at was an ad for a watch or a watch box.
Yeah.
I do 10 slot watch box, $14.99. 6 slot, $10.99. I didn't look it up. I didn't do it, but it's hearing what I'm saying, and it's advertising towards me. That's just a given in life.
Yeah.
That's going to happen. You have to find a way to shut it off.
Look, it's a smartphone. Think of it this way: it's it's not always like the phone is doing it, more like the apps installed on your phone are doing it.
Yes, the
Yeah,
apps.
yeah.
Right, because I remember Zuckerberg's second time in front of Congress where he had to admit it but didn't say it, that all the information collected on to Facebook was freely given, therefore his to use freely,
As he
which
wishes.
is which is how he makes money running Facebook,
Yeah.
which is why nobody has to pay for it. If you don't have to pay for it, well, it's my protections then, not
Yep.
yours. You freely gave it up.
That's
Just
right.
like any police interaction. You freely gave it up.
Once you click that little button when you sign
If,
up,
or
Yeah.
it all-
sign a pay, it just look, it just, you know,
It's the same thing on anything. On down anything on the internet. Even Pilled.
yeah,
They're going to be able to get your information no matter what. There is no off grid anymore. Okay, no matter, you could go out in the wilderness in Alaska, live in a fucking shanty, and as soon as you light a fire, a fucking satellite is going to pick you up, hone in on your coordinates, and they can have the FBI there within the hour.
yeah.
So there's no off grid anymore, anywhere, any place. Everybody knows where you live, your credit card information, blah, 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 blah.
right.
So why bother?
Look, the dark web, you know, makes dirty marks under your fingernails every day.
Every day.
Every day. The dark web knows you. The dark web owns you.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that.
hmm
And if you don't keep your ass on check and block motherfuckers every chance you get, you know, that's I keep hearing every day. This home title, people can just take your home title and sign their name to it and start making loans and steal it right out from under you.
Yeah.
How is this even possible? How do people not look? Are there not records up until this point, and then all of a sudden, shit skewed off, and then what? I gotta what? I gotta what? I gotta do what?
What's attached to that, to Spaz?
Well, I'm just saying,
Right.
just because this asshole gave this asshole money because this asshole defrauded me means that I got to negotiate with this fucking asshole, and because this guy's out of the fucking question, he's already gone. Well, what the fuck is that? Well, you fucking gave him the loan, asshole, fraudulently, because obviously he was fraudulent. Look, I don't see why I got to pay for, protection for that.
For $69.95 a month, we can protect you and your home title.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good idea.
It is a good idea, but
Until they get breached, and then
this is the world we live in. Yeah, my mother just got 3 letters in the mail the other day of a hack, they breached a fucking site and your information maybe. My mom's been dead for almost 2 years now.
Yep.
Why are you sending me these letters? What kind of information do you still have on my mom that needed to be reported upon to her because she's deceased about who you getting hacked by?
hmm
You
No,
can't tell?
her social security number went to somebody else.
Look,
yeah.
let me
Juan.
find out.
Juan's
Let me
got her
find out.
number.
Yeah,
Juan.
exactly.
Find it. Okay. You know what? You got a good point. Let me find out.
You should.
Look, I don't have to. All I got to do is ask a question to my sister, and she's like, "Oh, really?" And
Yeah.
she'll sit on the fucking phone and she'll sit on the fucking phone and just give her a little bit of time. She'll fucking find that shit out.
Yeah,
Wait till I tell her. Yeah, wait till I tell her. Hey, Mom voted in the last election, right? Yeah, wait till I tell her that. She'll be like, she'll be a Trump voter even when he's not running.
that's funny.
Because you think every time you get a telemarketer that calls you, spam call, your information was leaked.
Yep, your phone number.
Your name. Because I keep getting calls from North Carolina saying I'm missing my North Carolina health insurance. I have to update it. And I haven't lived in North Carolina in like 14 years. But they're still trying,
Now, 127 years ago, I used to be a telemarketer for a camera company when I was in, high school, and they would give us these sheets, and they would have the number on it, the area code, the first three numbers, and then a number, and then it would go 1, same number at the last number, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's how you used to dial the numbers.
Yeah.
And if the person answered, fantastic. If they didn't, you hung up, you did it again.
Yep.
Nowadays, every number has like you said, Zuckerberg sells those numbers to whomever. And that's how they make their money. It's not random anymore.
Yep.
It's calculated.
Calculated.
No more cold calls.
The new word for calculated is algorithm.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
If you're keeping up with the current dictionary.
No, I don't. I don't keep up with the old one half the time.
I got an old one.
He has an old one.
It's this thick.
Yeah, it's like
It is a 2-hand book.
It's enough to kill somebody with.
But it's fun, isn't it? Every time I pull that out, it's like either the word is there or it's not. And then it's like, wait, is that the definition?
A lot of the words weren't there because it was an old book.
Yeah.
It was a different time.
Yeah. And that's another thing. Another great subject to talk about is in 10 years from now, what's a dictionary going to look like?
It's not.
All the new words that they're using now pertaining to people's sexuality, between politics and religion. How big is the dictionary going to be?
You remember in the movie The Time Machine?
Oh yeah.
When he went so far in the future and he discovered the Enoch, whatever they go.
Eloy.
Yeah,
Eloy. Right. And then he got, he discovered enough through their mentality of where are these things that the past used to value,
right?
And they were called books, and he went down into the place where they had the books. And I think one of the most prolific points in that movie is when he took his hand on one shelf and just pulverized the whole shelf of books into oblivion, like it was nothing. All that information, lifetimes of information, useless, pulverized.
Yep.
I think it's one of the most prolific scenes in that movie. It holds a place in my heart and mind.
Well, that's part of every takeover of society.
What about the Dead Sea Scrolls?
The Vatican is notorious for burning books.
But what are they hiding?
Destroying information. You know as well as I do what they're hiding.
Destroying information is censorship.
They don't care. They have a corner on the market of God. Anybody who questions it is an enemy.
But
Yeah, they're destroying it for you know, for your safety, for your
That's right.
protection, for you know, so it won't hurt you. That's why they need to destroy or censor.
That's why nobody is allowed in the Vatican archives. Because it's not being destroyed, it's being hoarded away of what people throughout the ages for the last 2,500 years have been saying about everything. The church puts it all in a box and hides it away because what's the most valuable thing in the world? It's not gold, it's not silver, it's information.
Hmm.
Information is more valuable than anything. And you can destroy or enrich a culture with it.
Exactly, because you can have all the money and power in the world, but if you control the information, you have more power than anyone.
Exactly. That's why every leader has a propagandist. Right? Right now, our government has the mainstream media. Right? That's the propagandist to get their message out. Go back to the Romans. They had the auditors, the guys who stood on their soapboxes and yelled and screamed on a street corner. That's the people who controlled the information to the masses. It doesn't change. The only thing that changes is the delivery of the information.
Exactly.
The last time I seen somebody publicly on a soapbox on a street corner was what, in Japan, and he
They
was
shot him.
shot in the fucking back by a dude that made homemade
A
firearms,
homemade shotgun.
Yeah.
and it wasn't even his first shot. Imagine that. He shot once, it was a dud,
Yep.
Reloaded and shot
and
again.
he was able to fucking reload and shoot again. Did you hear what was in his house? He
No.
had like 16 shot all at once. This is like, like this military fucking million rounds a second fired and just rains down. This dude had this in his house. He constructed it himself. He had,
Jesus.
right, Jesus, yes, but when you say up on a soapbox, that's what I remember. This
Yeah.
dude was trying to save his people, trying to reason with his people, not up on the in the high tower, so to speak.
On
He
the street.
was he was on the fucking street and got shot in the fucking back.
Yeah.
Look, I'm just saying, look, if you get shot in the back by preaching what you believe, you're probably speaking something right.
Yeah, because you think about, like, you know, you see preachers out in the streets. You know, remember street preachers? They don't even allow that anymore. Or if you're, because I remember, what was that? I think it was when I was out in California, in Del Mar. There used to be a guy out there used to protest everything out there, and he disappeared one day because he was speaking the truth. Now, if you know you speak the truth, go away, go away.
Wait, do you mean like black bagging, like they call in V, Mr.
Yeah.
McCready's
Oh
black
God.
bag?
Yeah.
You remember that they were doing this in fucking, where was that in China? What's
Tiananmen.
that? No, not what's that
No,
city? It
I
starts
know what
with
you're
an
talking
H.
about.
It's Hong Kong. Hong Kong in China had their own set of rules,
Yeah.
separate from what they call mainland. And you remember that in Hong Kong, people who spoke up against were black bagged
Yep, and taken away.
and taken away by eyewitness report. I mean, how credible is that? Who the fuck knows? Roll some dice. Anyway, what happened to these people? They disappeared.
That's right.
What happened after that? China protested
Hmm.
for almost a year, right? I think it was almost a year. China was out in the street protesting. I remember seeing it. They're protesting. What the fuck, man? Somebody starts making some fucking sense, and now they disappear, and we all know where they went,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Well, the same
Social
thing.
credit scored. But what stopped all the protests? You remember what stopped all the protests in China?
COVID.
Oh!
Yeah.
Give the man a prize.
The same
That-
thing happened here in the 1960s
I
during
think-
Vietnam. You remember?
Exactly right.
Sometimes you need to
Exactly
see
right.
things. You need to see things from a different perspective. Please don't kill me yet. I'm just, I don't want to shoot people. I just want to be able to shoot back, bro. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. I'm just using words, trying to make sense
That's
of
right.
it.
Because the same thing happened in the 1960s during the Vietnam protest. You think of people disappeared. You think what they did to Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, because they were, Malcolm X was coming out against the Democrats, right? You remember that? And he was trying to unite, people. And we got to kill him too.
Because they couldn't get anybody close to him.
Mhm.
You need to think. What happened to JFK? You remember?
Yeah. He took a bullet to the face.
Back and to the left. Back and to the left.
Magic
Look,
bullet.
Look, I get it. The driver did some fancy moves,
Sure did.
right? But we could also, you remember JFK and the Marilyn Monroe shit?
Hmm.
What would it take to convince a wife sitting next to the president to do something at a specific time because she was fucking angry
No,
about this Marilyn Monroe shit?
She knew about that. She knew about Marilyn Monroe.
Mhm.
Now-
She knew about all of his affairs
Now look,
because they were going on before he was president.
I
Yeah.
know. I've seen. I used to go twice a year to this website where, the atrocities upon humans are. It's don't eat before you go, right? And it's I've seen a lot of live shots. You could tell.
Yeah.
It's not always a melon, but you can always tell. And back and to the left is not exactly something that would be from the driver seat. It not necessarily would be from the grassy knoll. I'm still more towards the underground sewer drain.
Or
The sewer drain, yeah, because he slowed down, right? And right, yeah. I'm just saying, but I mean, back and to the left. I mean that it clearly would have been. Look, we all seen that video of that senator, right? He got caught. He was making a press conference, right? And he was like, "Oh, hold back, right? Hold
Yeah.
back, right?" He ate it. He didn't take it under the chin, but he ate it. And we all seen what happened, right? Back into right. It's just look, I don't want to think about these things, but I have to think about these things because I'm bored when I work. I'm bored when I work. Mixing concrete, nailing wood,
Yeah.
securing doors. It's boring, and so it gives me plenty of time to think about these things. But I'm not always, absorbing the internet information as much as I'd like to. So my opinion and my thought process is limited.
And the sad thing is, are we ever going to know in our lifetime what happened?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think we are.
Because we're just peons. We don't deserve the truth.
Right.
So
It's supposed to come out. It was supposed to come out in 17.
Mm-hmm.
Never did. And
you,
now Trump is saying again, I'm going to release everything.
Yep. And
I doubt it, but
what do you think? What do you think that pivot point is? What do you think that seesaw point is?
I don't think it's ever going to reach any kind of pivot point. I think
Okay.
the American people are never going to find out.
we need Nicolas Cage to go get it.
Yes. Like he did the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah, send Nicolas Cage in.
I think the pivot point is Jeffrey Epstein's client list.
That's funny too, because you talk about Jeffrey and Maxwing. How many have you seen, someone do what they did and all the clients get busted, right?
Yeah.
Not one single person from that list. And they usually publish the list, and so that just tells you everything you need to know if they're not going to prosecute anybody or they're not going to.
Well,
Yeah.
Somebody got shot and murdered because they were shooting and murdering people, and their manifesto didn't come out till how long?
Yeah, and we just got a couple pages like 2 weeks ago again.
Right? And then think about the irony of the FBI having a laptop, and yet all the contents were printed out into books,
Mhm.
slightly moderated, slightly.
They had several, and don't forget Anthony Weiner's laptop too.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
now we didn't even
Yeah.
get to Anthony Weiner's laptop because that hasn't been published in a book yet.
Yeah, but that's just all disinformation too, right? That's not real, right?
Apparently not.
What? See, we're all finding an impasse in life, right? We found new information. Not only did we find new information, but we found out how far this information extends, because you can't just do these things without all these things, happening, not happening, right?
Mhm.
So once visualizing these happenings, well, who do I take it to?
Exactly.
What is my
Exactly.
911, bro? Oh, I just give it back to the FBI?
That's what I was saying earlier.
It's just,
Yeah.
look,
Who's going
so
to be held accountable?
this is once again why the printing press is so important. Look, whether it's true or false, whether it's misinformation or information, we should all be able to digest it and reflect upon it, individually.
Mhm.
Right. And to think that we're already in a world where most of us can't even figure out that we have to blindly, by faith, make a decision, right? Just because, well, I'm me and this is what I believe, and just to move on, I think explains that the funnel exists, and the devil is real,
Mm.
and he and we're on the trail of discovering that he's real. And I think it's a hard pursuit, and it's a very dark jungle to go down. But once we go, we will find out for sure.
Definitely.
And you know what's even more fucked up than that is that faith is believing without seeing. Here we are going down this rabbit hole, and I'm thinking, you know what? We didn't even have to. All we had to do was believe. We didn't have to go down that rabbit hole. We didn't have to find out that information. We didn't have to dig and see what we saw.
True.
All we had to do is have faith.
Blind faith can lead to disastrous consequences.
Unless it's the right thing.
Because we've always had the truth. We just didn't know it.
Exactly.
My 19-year-old coworker said, I've never met anybody who read the Bible and applied its learnings and had a worse life.
No, very true.
Hmm.
Because
This
the
is
Bible is interpreted for everybody in a different way. And you can have that faith. But a lot of people are talking about blind faith based on other people saying that you have to believe this or you have to
Yes.
believe this. Like the Crusades, right? The first Crusades to take the Holy Land from the Muslims. That was on blind faith. The Pope said, we got to go. And everybody in England and in France and in all the knights in Germany, they all went on blind faith and they never came back. It wasn't until the Third Crusade where they said, you know what? Maybe we should just share this shit. Because there's no use in cutting each other's heads off just because they're telling us to. There's your holy lands, they're mine. Let's just share them. Until King Richard came along and decided to fuck that up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So blind faith is not always a good thing. Sometimes you have to go down that rabbit hole just a little bit, just to make sure you're doing the right thing.
100%. But I'm also, I also applaud those who, chose righteously the first time.
True. Very true. What time is it, guys?
We're 1 hour and 38 minutes in.
Okay. Is that okay if we call the show for tonight?
Not a problem.
My my throat's starting to hurt.
But I appreciate every minute I get to
I was
spend.
doing pretty good there for a minute, and then
The whole time, honestly.
it's just I'm straining myself real hard.
Well, the only problem I saw was that you let me talk so much.
That's the good thing. That's the good thing.
Talk away.
Yeah, and great conversation because we didn't talk too much about major politics, and everybody looks like they had a good time.
Oh yeah, and we didn't go to the Nazis and the Jews and the Egyptians and
No, exactly.
well, we
I
were
was hoping-
digging. We were digging.
I was so bummed we didn't talk about the debate. Man,
Damn it.
darn it. Darn it.
Next time.
Ah,
Next time.
You know what the best thing I learned about the debate? It's just like a transgender fight. It's like 3 against 1, bro.
you know the best thing about the debate when it was over.
Yes. We were
Oh,
all waiting
Well,
for
we
that.
got crickets.
Oh, let me ask you guys this. After that debate, did you feel like you just ran like 50 miles? And
Yes.
it was just like, oh, I couldn't even walk up the stairs when I was done. I was like, oh,
It's like we're out of breath.
yeah. I was like, oh.
It was horrible.
Would you like to know my interpretation of the debate?
Sure.
Oh, you can hear the cricket. He's getting closer, motherfucker. Anyway, my interpretation of the debate. Trump was he's a grasshopper. He's a grasshopper. He can fly. He can jump. And the debate was a spider trap, a trapdoor spider trap. And they told Kamala all the questions.
Yeah.
Of course.
They
Yeah, what's the
gave
word?
it was just like professional football. They were told who's gonna win,
Hold
and
him
how
on
you're gonna
Trump.
fucking do it, and what play you're gonna fucking play. And the refs were in on it, and how do you make a good show? It's with the best actors, and well, sometimes the DEI hires are fucking refs, and
True.
it has to be true. How else do you explain Philadelphia Eagles winning a Super Bowl? I don't fucking care, man. Just look, like I know I got dudes who worship these motherfuckers to the end of time.
Great question.
As soon as the Philadelphia Eagles won a fucking Super Bowl, I was like, it's all fake and rigged.
Yep.
It is. And it's simple as that. And it's just sometimes you got to see it, and sometimes you got to be woken up to it. And you know what? Sometimes it's all just pitfalls and sand traps,
I agree.
and better keep hopping and jumping.
Okay, Mr.
Thank
W. Where can we find you during the week?
At my house, but Sunday, Jedi Patriots coming back with live flight tracking at 10 p.m. Sunday night. He's been doing live flight tracking. I've learned a lot from him doing that. And it's pretty cool stuff on there. And Joe 102 will be joining us as he
Cool.
teaches us how to flight track. He can tell you every flight he watches,
Mhm.
from military to civilian to helicopter. He's got it all down now. Pretty cool
Cool.
stuff.
That should be fun. What time is that?
10 p.m. Sunday,
10 p.m. Sunday. Okay.
East Coast time.
Thank you, Spaz.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. W. Thank you for hanging out tonight. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you,
I
Spaz.
appreciate it. Well,
Say hello to Mrs. W.
yeah.
I will. And I'll join you one night, Spaz. I'll join you one night.
There
All
you
right.
go.
You know, I always throw it out.
Yeah. It's usually you throw it out, I should just getting in bed.
Not
Like,
on
damn it.
Mondays. I don't throw it out on Mondays, but
I'll join you one night, Spaz. I promise.
much love, sir.
Thank
right.
you.
Take it easy.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right, bye. And then we got Spaz.
You're wearing
the-
wearing a funny shirt tonight.
Yes, my
It
occasional.
says occasional.
Yeah,
I personally don't believe I was ever an adult.
I have one. I can't find it because I think my daughter stole it.
Anyway,
One that says "No adulting today."
she probably wears it better anyway.
Yeah, she does. So, anyway, mandatory Metal Monday. If anything, go in there, give him a blue pill because he was looking at his stats for the blue pills on Monday or Tuesday, I don't know, whatever it was, and they're like, so yeah, I'm there.
It's
I'm
actually
there.
like
Yeah,
it's almost like 2020 election night. Honestly,
almost.
it looks
Yep.
like it, doesn't it?
and then the rest of the week, we don't find Spaz. He finds us.
Well, you'll find me sniffing your ass, whatever podcast you got going on, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
So far, yeah, Tuesdays and Thursdays, working out good. I try to do the morning shows, but it's very difficult for me now.
Look,
Yeah,
yeah, and I get it and I feel it, but you know, like I always say, I am God blessed with every minute I get to spend with you
I appreciate
and talking on the phone to your wife while you're in the background.
it.
And
Yeah.
her mom and
Oh, they love you, Spaz.
yeah,
Absolutely love you.
you're definitely a blessing here, and you know,
So-
hang around, bro.
I will be around. I will do the best that I can.
Yeah, keep them hamsters alive too. I'm
Yeah,
I'm not fond of hamsters, but
One of them is named Remy, and the other one is named Butters.
look, let's not get into that.
I don't know. So
Let's get into what's behind that. You see the alien head?
the alien. Yeah, he's back there.
When was the last time you brought out the alien head?
Oh, jeez, it's been a minute.
Look, yes, because you used to do
Much stuff.
no, yeah, you used to do, handouts, give outs, what do you call them? Fucking whatever the fuck it was. Raffles anyway.
Yeah.
And I periodically remember that I was supposed to send you some gold backs so that you can raffle them off. I remember.
that was
look,
before I got sick.
Look, and yeah, I know it was before you got sick. And then you got sick and you stopped doing the things, and I was like, should I hold off? I don't know.
Yeah.
I try to send my love in a different way. But
We could talk about that.
but yes, it's sometimes it is simple as important to give back.
Absolutely.
And you have Tuesdays, you have Thursdays, and any other time you can have in between. But
Yeah.
some of our best times with you are when you're sitting there with your wife and you're giving stupid fucking Hitler stamps away for free. And it's just, it's
Exactly.
glorious times, sir. It's glorious times.
Yeah.
And I wish to see more of them.
And once I get past all this shit, we'll get back to it. I promise.
Amen.
I promise. All right, brother.
I hope to support that endeavor.
I will. I hope everybody will. I will see you on Tuesday.
Much love, sir.
Yes. All right. Thank you much.
Good night.
Have a good night.
You too.
Let me thank everybody over on the X, D Live, YouTube for hanging out. I appreciate you. And everybody on Pilled who donated tips. Thank you guys so much. Like I said, I can't give you a definitive schedule. I do the best that I can. So, with that being said, I'm going to send you guys over to somebody else right now in a raid. Thank you all from Pilled for being here, and I'll see you as soon as I see you. Have a good one. Bye-bye.